Good news. CNN, Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Screen Rant, they all confirmed that Neve Campbell is returning to the Scream franchise, and she will be in Scream 7. So, which means this will not be a remake, because if it were a remake, they would have gotten a whole new cast of characters to play the roles of Sidney Gale and everybody else. Now, here's what I read right here, according to The Guardian. This is The Guardian. Original star of hit slasher franchise will return after dispute over salary and with actor Melissa Barrera fired for pro-Palestine comments. That's still unfortunate, and a lot of us are still ticked off about that. Neve Campbell is set to return to the Scream franchise. The actress who plays the role of Sidney Prescott announced in an Instagram post that she was excited to be leading Untitled Scream 7 to be directed by Kevin Williamson, who wrote the original 1996 film. It has always been such a blast and an honor to get to play Sidney in the Scream movies. My appreciation for these films and for what they have meant to me has never waned. Campbell had played the role of Sidney Prescott in the first 4 films, all directed by Wes Craven, with Scream 4 released in 2011. After the filmmaker's death in 2015, the franchise was rebooted, kind of, in 2022 with Scream, which saw Neve Campbell and series regular Courtney Cox and David Arquette return alongside new recruits led by Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega. After the film was a commercial success, a follow-up was announced, but Campbell decided not to return after a salary dispute. She said, "I felt the offer that was presented to me did not equate to the value that I've brought to the franchise." Today's announcement also added, "I'm very happy and proud to say I've been asked in the most respectful way to bring Sidney back to the screen, and I couldn't be more thrilled." While Scream 6 was another commercial hit, breaking the opening weekend record for the entire franchise, the future of the series was put into question after Melissa Barrera was fired last November. The actor had shown support for Palestine on social media during the ongoing war, while also criticizing Israel. More than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed in the conflict so far. In a statement from Spyglass, the company is now behind the series, said at the time that they have a zero tolerance for anti-Semitism or the blah, blah, blah. We've already heard that mess before. In January, when Neve Campbell was asked about a return to the series, she said, "I know things are spinning at the moment, and I would imagine they are spinning at the top trying to figure out what they're going to do. I would not be surprised to get a call, but at the same time, I made a strong statement a few years ago, which is I did not believe that the way I was treated would have happened had I been a male, and that I deserve a certain thing for having carried this franchise for as long as I have." Now that that's been confirmed, let's kind of revise some of this a little bit, because I thought, and again, let's go on the assumption that, let's say Melissa and Jenna are not returning. So now here's my idea for at least who should be in the movie. Now, as far as the plot, I'm still a little bit kind of mixed in limbo about that one. So Neve Campbell reprises her role as Sidney Prescott. The idea would also have Courtney Cox reprise her role as Gail Weathers. Patrick Dempsey, who was only in one movie so far, play the role of Mark Kincaid, who was one of the officers in Scream 3. He was not in 4. He was mentioned in 5 and 6. Now, I think that they could and should also have Jasmine Savoy and Mason Gooding reprise their roles as Minnie and Chad. Now, with Sam and Tara being gone, here's the idea. This is just my idea. Now, many of you might agree with this and many may disagree. Because of her trauma and what she's experienced and her constant battles with seeing the ghost of her deceased biological father and serial killer, Billy Loomis, maybe she could be in an institution and they'll just say, hey, Tara went away for college and occasionally she visits her, but we don't see that part. They just mention it in the same way they mentioned Sidney and Mark in Scream 6. Who else could be there? Let's see, who else? I mean, so many characters have died in the past. I mean, there's no Randy, there's no Hallie, there's no Tatum or Derek or Dewey. Like, there's none of them. Almost nearly everybody died in Scream 4 except for Kirby, Judy died in the 5th movie. So bring Kirby back, maybe have a little bit more focus on her. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, have no idea. I still have no idea what they're going to do for this next movie. But I think what is ruled out is a remake. Because if that was the case, that means they would get a whole new, like I said, there would be a whole new set of cast members to play the roles of these different characters. Best case scenario is they reach out to Barrera and Ortega and say, look, we'll increase your salary by a little bit, just a little bit, maybe at least an extra $300,000 or $400,000, hell, even $500,000. I'm just kind of spitting stuff here. We'll come back, we'll continue the story. There was another article that confirmed that Skeet Ulrich, who plays Billy Loomis, said that Sam was meant to have a 3-story arc, a 3-movie story arc. And I feel that they're doing a huge disservice to the franchise by not continuing that story. Best thing to do would bring both of them back. And then if they do that, it will, in my opinion, in my speculation, I think it will gross more money than even the first film. Even the first film. So now that she's back, hopefully the movie will still come out in the time that they said it should be released. Now, with all the BS that we've seen recently, like I said, with Melissa and Jenna, it's obvious that this movie's not going to come out this year. So I'm looking at maybe 2025. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm glad to see that she's back. So that's a huge piece of good news right there. So besides that, hopefully we get some more updates pretty soon. Piece this movie, or piece everything more and more together. So like and subscribe. I got more coming. Scream fans for life.